Hey everybody, welcome back to Prepper Junkie. Today on the table we have a Walther TAC R1. Let's get the review started. All right everybody, as I said, this is the Walther TAC R1. If you think this is an AR-15, it's technically not. It kind of looks like an AR-15 obviously, but this is chambered in a 22 LR. So you know, why would you get a 22 LR that looks like an AR-15, kind of functions like an AR-15? It's a good question. I would say there's probably three reasons to purchase a gun like this. One is 22 is just a freaking ton of fun to shoot with, and if you've not shot 22, I highly recommend you do it. It's very, very fun and a lot cheaper to shoot than most other calibers out there. The second reason is, I mentioned they function almost identically to an AR-15. So if you're looking for a training tool that's not going to cost you a ton to shoot, these are not a bad option. Or option number three, if you are looking to maybe train the younger generation, but they're not quite ready for an AR-15, but you want to get them used to the platform, these are a very good option. But option number one is still, for me, it's still a freaking ton of fun to shoot these. All right, before we get too far into this video, I want to thank today's video sponsor. If you're going to carry a gun, you need a great holster. I personally use betterholsters.com for my concealed carry, for my out the waistband carry, and I use their gun belt also. They have over 450 models in stock, 50 different colors, 100% made in the US of A, 30-day money-back guarantee, and a lifetime warranty. What more could you ask for? Check out betterholsters.com. All right, folks, let's start at the back here. It does come with a buttstock on here. It does have a nice big rubber butt pad on here, which is nice, comfortable in the shoulder. Obviously, this gun has like pretty much zero recoil, so you don't have to worry about that. But this is a standard AR-15 stock, so you can change them out on this gun if you wish to. It does have QD slings on either side, has some original sling attachments right here, and obviously it is adjustable like so. The one thing it's a minimalistic buttstock. It looks pretty good. The one thing I don't really like is it's got a lot of play in there. Now, if this was a go-to rifle of mine, I would change that out. But since this is, again, for the price point and whatever it is, you know, I'm not worried about it. Just something that just be aware of. Okay, so this is a blowback design, which means it doesn't have a buffer system back here. There's no need for it. So we do have a buffer tube, but there's no buffer spring and a buffer in there. But it is a mil-spec tube, and that's what I was saying. You can change these out, your stocks out because it has a mil-spec buffer tube on there. You have your castle nut. It's not staked, and a 22. I don't think that is a problem. It just is what it is. You have what looks like a standard M4 charging handle right here, but it only pulls back like to here instead of to here in a normal AR-15, but again, it's keeping that functionality the same as an AR-15 for if you're doing it for training purposes. You have your brass deflector. Again, all these functions are the same as AR-15. Brass deflector, forward assist, and your mag release. And then obviously you have your bolt in here. We'll go over that in a second. Moving down, you do have a standard what looks like AR-15 grip. I don't believe these are interchangeable. I could be wrong, but I don't think these are interchangeable, so kind of get what you get. It does have some nice texturing on there. It's pretty comfortable in the hand. So there you go. You do have an enhanced trigger guard already in there, and it is complete with the lower, so you can't change that out. If you want to switch out your trigger guard for some reason, you cannot do that. It is all one piece. And then you have a very standard trigger in there. Let's go over that real fast. So take the mag out. These are Walther proprietary mags, and they are kind of expensive for what it is. These are going to set you back. The average I've seen was about $35 per mag, so bear that in mind. It does have a flared mag well. It's very standard again to an AR-15. Okay, let's check the trigger out. Now you've probably just seen how far I pulled that back. That's as far as it comes back. And a typical AR-15, obviously it will pull further back. But again, the functionality is still there to get that muscle memory in. Okay. Take that off safe. Obviously, we do have a safety on this side, I forgot to point out. And the bolt catch and release that is right here is just for looks. It doesn't function. With the safety, I kind of wish they'd put more of a standard AR-15 safety on there. This one's kind of flat. I need something that sticks out. Maybe just a little more. Again, maybe just a bog standard AR-15 safety piece would have been better. But again, it works and functions just fine. Okay, to the trigger. This is a proprietary trigger to Walther. You can't switch these out like some other guns like this, such as the Smith & Wesson, and there's a couple other ones out there that are 22 LRs. You can switch out AR-15 triggers with them, but you can't with this one. So you got a little bit of take up, you got a little bit of creep, and then you got your brake, and then you got a little bit of let out, a little bit more let out, a little bit more let out, a little bit more, and I don't know if you heard that. So the reset, I realize people will kind of say, well, why are you being so, you know, pernickety on the trigger? My job is to review everything and give you my opinion on it and tell you how it feels so you guys make an educated decision. So the trigger, it's not good. It just is what it is. Again, for training purposes, it's fine. This is not a precision gun, and I know that. But the trigger, the break isn't bad. The reset's long, and it has a very faint. It was almost, I almost didn't feel it resetting. I heard it a little, but I didn't actually feel it. It wasn't tactile. However, when I was shooting the gun, I didn't have any problems. But just be aware that's what the trigger's like. But again, for what it is as a training tool, it's fine. Okay. Let's do a little, this actually does have an upper and lower, and I like to do a wiggle test between them to see how it does. So let's see if there's any play between the upper and lower. Very minimum play there, so it's actually a pretty good fit between the upper and lower. We obviously have an EXPS 3-01 here. Doesn't come with the gun. This optic is probably twice the cost of this gun, so no, it does not come with it. You do have a 1913 pick rail all the way along here, so there's plenty of place to attach whatever you need. QD sling attachments on either side, and you have M-LOK slots at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position. Again, plenty of M-LOK slots to attach whatever you need. And it's been very aggressively cut out to keep this more of a lighter gun. It does have cutouts on top, down the sides here, and again, all the way around the rail to lighten it up. The one thing I really do like about this is, again, I keep mentioning this is more of a, you know, if you're using this more of a training tool, because this is an aluminum handguard, it actually feels like the forend is an AR-15, where say with the Smith & Wesson, it's all polymer. So this gives more of a realistic feel with this handguard. Now below the handguard, typically if it was an AR-15, obviously we would be talking about the gas system, the gas block. It doesn't have that obviously because it's a blowback design, which I already mentioned, but we do have a 16-inch barrel, and we do have an A2 birdcage on the front right there. To take the gun down also, exact same as an AR-15, you've got the 2 pins at the front and back here, right here and here. So you just push the back pin out. These pins are not captured, so they will fall out, so try not to lose them when you pull it out. Pull that up. Now you'll see right here where I was mentioning, this is kind of where your trigger sits in here, and this is why I was saying it is not compatible with other AR-15s, and you'll notice that it doesn't have the pins in here to actually install an AR-15 typical trigger. So it's the trigger that comes in it is a trigger you've got, and then you have your upper receiver, everything in your bolt and is all in here. Very basic disassembly. You can get in and clean it like this as well if need be. So okay, just put that back together, take your pin, stick that back in, mag, back in we go. So cosmetically everything is nice. There's a couple, again, I mean, I try not to be too picky, especially with the value of these guns, and I'll come to that in just a second. So overall the fit and finish is pretty decent on the outside. Again, I do like the rail. Walther makes some really nice guns outside of this. You know, they make really nice handguns and things like that. The thing, as I said, the main thing I don't like so far is just that wiggle, and I know it's really nitpicky, but I don't really like the wiggle on that stock. It just drives me kind of crazy, and I kind of wish that this was not just for looks. I wish the bolt catch and release actually functioned as it was supposed to. Again, if you're using this for training, you can get around that, but I think to be more realistic and training, you would need to really have that functioning. Okay, now let's move on. How was shooting the gun? Shooting the gun was actually really, really good. Now, it's a 22 LR, so I mean, you're going to expect issues. You know, you're going to have failures every now and again, and it's usually ammo associated, right? Because it's a rimfire. But I'm about 300 rounds plus through it. I've had no issues to speak of as of yet. Knock on wood. But yeah, I picked the gun up, stuck my EOTech on it. The EOTech actually belongs to a different gun, one of my go-to guns, and I switched it over to this for the review. So I don't want to reset the zero exactly for this gun and then switch it back and have to re-zero it. So we're going to call this a rough zero, but the groupings they're still what they should be, right? It's just that they're not going to be center mass where it should be. But straight out of the box, these were at 15 yards. This was at 25 yards with just the red dot with the EOTech. You can see here the groupings are good, and I wasn't taking my time. I was like pop, pop, pop. Yes, I was on a bench rest and things like you know, but I was not taking my time with these shots. I'm just going pop, pop, and that was the result. So I'm not disappointed that in the slightest. Obviously, the further you go out, the more it will struggle with your groupings. But I mean, even at just 25 yards, I'm more than happy with that. Happy indeed. So no problems there. Happy with the accuracy. Now, let's talk about the price point. You're going to pick these up anywhere between $300 to $400, which I think is reasonable for the gun. Again, for a training aid, as a training tool, or just having some just good old 22 LR plinking fun, it's a pretty decent deal, I would say. Things to bear in mind: mags are a little expensive at about $36 a pop, but realistically, again, for me, I would only ever have 2 or 3 mags for this type of gun personally at home, unless you're using this for more of a main role for some reason. But for me, because for what it is and what for me, I would only have 2 or 3 mags, so it's not such a big deal. I did forget to mention, I do apologize, these sights, actually, they're pop-up sights. And they did actually come with the gun, which is a really nice touch, because backup sights can be a little expensive, so that does save you a little cash right there. Overall, not bad at all. I'm going to compare it to, I own the Smith & Wesson M&P 15-22. I've owned it for years. We'll do a comparison and see which one comes out on top, but not a bad little gun. All right, folks, that's it from me. If you have any questions, any comments, please ask them above. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so. It does really help me out, and I do greatly appreciate it. And that's it, folks. Until next time, I'll catch you later.